John Legend, everybody. Hey, pal. How are you? Great to see you. All right.
Hello.
Not only a great talent, but a great citizen. You use your powers for good and not evil.
I try.
And we appreciate that. And it's a terrific new video and song. What if people don't hear it? Some of our audience is, older than listening to young music. That's the poetic message. How would you put it in? What was the takeaway that you want people to get?
Well, the song, we talk about, we had another gun massacre today in America, in Illinois, and every time it happens, we get the hopes and prayers and thoughts and prayers from all our officials, and they don't do anything about it.
Yeah.
And the song is basically saying, we've had enough of the thoughts and prayers and the talking about it. Let's actually do something.
T&P.
Yeah.
T&P.
Yeah.
So, before I forget this, I haven't seen you. You were so good as Jesus.
Oh, thank you.
In Jesus Christ. You see Jesus Christ Superstar?
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
You were born to play that part. Because people already think of you as a great guy.
Well.
So, it's like Jesus, John Legend. I get that.
I'm a kid of, I'm the son and grandson of preachers, and so I've been learning about Jesus my whole life.
Yeah.
And so I guess that was preparation for that.
Okay.
Yes.
So, all right. I know mass incarceration is a big issue with you.
Yeah.
You have an organization involved with that.
Yes, Free America.
Do you think Trump gets any credit for? He did get a bill passed.
Yeah, I mean, the bill was good.
A prison reform bill.
The bill was good, and it was.
He always says, no one ever writes about it when I do something good.
Yeah.
No one notices the press that we're mentioning it now, okay, asshole? We're mentioning your good thing. How about that?
It's hard to really credit him because he has no idea what's in the bill, but a lot of people worked on it on both sides of the aisle, and a lot of activists worked on it, and it's aptly named First Step because there's a lot more steps, I think, that need to go into place, but I think it is a first step, and it's better than not having done it.
Yeah. When Hillary Clinton ran, her first speech in her campaign was about mass incarceration. So I thought when they hung that super predator on her, it was kind of unfair. She
said it. She said it, so she has to be accountable for what she said, but I think the pressure that was put on her and her realizing that she had to move to the left on that issue was because of the pressure. And so I think it's good for activists on the left to pressure Democrats who in the 90s and the 2000s were tough on crime.
She was, okay, but there was a lot more crime in the 90s. According to the Clintons on this, I mean, she was the first lady at the time. She wasn't the president.
Sure.
And she said they were saying that word in response to requests from community leaders.
The bottom line is, I think the pressure that the left put on Hillary Clinton was useful. And it moved her to the left, and it moved the Democratic Party to the left.
She needed to be moved to the left on that issue?
On criminal justice, absolutely. And I think a lot of Democrats have needed to move to the left. And we're seeing people bring up other candidates for 2020, their record on criminal justice, and I think it's appropriate for people on the left to put pressure on our politicians and require them to step to where we want them to step.
But part of the result of that was that I remember reading the quote from Colin Kaepernick, who said, I'm not going to vote because they're both racists, Trump and Hillary.
That's a terrible idea because I hate the idea.
But that's what
I think we can have both. We can say, let's put pressure from the left on our politicians, but also say, when it comes down to a decision, I voted for Hillary Clinton. And I campaigned for Hillary Clinton because I knew the alternative was Trump. And not just a negative decision because I thought Hillary was a great candidate too, but also it was clear that even if there was someone running on a third-party candidacy to her left, I wouldn't have voted for that person because I'm practical about the fact that I want the best candidate with the best chance of winning to get my vote.
Okay. So I noticed that you're pretty much the only big star in the R. Kelly recent documentary that we all watched, and it was pretty damning.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people have asked in the last few years, like, when is the Me Too movement going to come to the music industry? And I think what a lot of people are thinking is, God, that's so ubiquitous in the music industry, where would you even start?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think clearly we're having this conversation about R. Kelly. There's another article this week in the New York Times about another musician, and so I think there's a conversation being had. I just think music is probably a bit more decentralized, and so I think...
and sexy. It's a sexy thing. There's,
Well,
you know,
and
there's
I
sex
also
all
think-
around. So
and I
it's
also think,
blurs the
particularly
line.
in the R. Kelly case, the reason why it was ignored for so long was because the victims were pretty powerless and they didn't have
Right.
people speaking up for them. And so that's really why I spoke up. I have friends who are activists that were speaking up for those victims, and a lot of people were ignoring them. And the guy who wrote about it in Chicago was saying, I learned, as a white guy writing, he was like, I learned that black women are the least valued women in society because when I was writing about this, no one cared, no one paid attention.
Right.
So these victims didn't have the power, they didn't have the standing to get their get attention paid to what happened to them. And so it was good that this documentary
And-
paid
Preach.
proper attention to them. Thank you, Maya.
And can we still play R. Kelly at a party? Would that be wrong if we?
I don't play it.
I don't either.
Me neither.
Yep.
Absolutely not. Out of my iPod.